You all know Dan Cook, and he's going to show us his art. We're all excited about that, so it's all yours.
Thank you. To go in, somebody was asking me for where I started. I'm not gonna, we all started off the same way when we were kids with the drawing and the painting and getting, whatever it was. And then advanced to crayons and then to maybe watercolor or something like that. So I'm no different than these people. I started off the same way. I'll give you a little background of my schooling. I had won a scholarship to the School of Industrial Art, which they call Art and Design today. And so I went 4 years there, and then I went to, I had some time in Pratt Institute, and then I went to the Art Students League. I studied in Florence, Italy for a little while. Yeah. And
my heart breaks.
So I've had quite a bit of schooling, and I've had a lot of anatomy. They always, I studied with Bern Hogart. I don't know if anybody knows this gentleman, but he was one of the greatest anatomy artists. And
he did Tarzan.
Huh? Yes, he did Tarzan. Yes, he did Tarzan. And actually, he got me. The first job I got, I was 17 years old. I worked for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I was actually, and I think I had mentioned this before, I used to vacuum the mummies. So I was a mummy.
That's a great thing on your resume. I vacuum the mummies.
I was the mummy duster of the museum. So I stayed there about a year or so, and Mr. Hogarth had got me a job with DC Comics, and I was doing inking for DC Comics, and it was good. It was hectic, very hard. You had to be fast. You had to really be fast, and you could never. They always told you what you had to ink. You never took it upon yourself to do, what you thought should be inked. If they told you this was inked and it wasn't inked, you were out the door, and they didn't give you a second chance. That was it. But I worked there. I worked in printing houses. I used to do what they call silhouetting. I don't know anybody that. It's where they take photographs. We would use airbrush, touch up the photograph with an airbrush. Maybe like you see, like O.J. Simpson, they used to have come into the car, and you see him come into the car. Well, in the magazine, you would see him in the air, and then the background is all white. So what they would do actually is they would take a picture of him on some kind of a trapeze type of looking thing, that he looked like he was going into the car. Then the photograph would come to me, and I would white out everything around it and airbrush out the straps and all this stuff on him. And then they would print it into the magazine. It would look like he was going into the
You
car.
were the one that got rid of the glove.
Yeah, right. I have the glove. I can put it there. He's already away, so that's it. So, but anyway, so I went into printing, and I had many jobs, and I worked in advertising art for a while for Kenyon Eckhart, and I just wasn't my world. It just wasn't my world. I got drafted, and I went to Vietnam, and that kind of changed things. So when I came back out, I didn't want to go into an office no more. So I did other things. I got bounced around. I really, luckily I met my wife, that's all. I probably went down the Bowery drinking over something. I don't know. Anyway, let's cut that story fast. Somebody asked me one time, why don't I paint about Vietnam? I know Doug is another Vietnam vet here, and he does a lot of, he did a lot of beautiful sketches of some of the people in Vietnam. We didn't have the same feeling, everybody has a different outlook on things. I just didn't like it, okay? It was something that just got to me. So that's the reason why I bring this up, is I bring this painting here. And this is my interpretation of Vietnam. If you look at it, it's hard to explain. It's actually people being dragged out, like I was in a draft.
Can you hold that up,
Hold
Dan,
it
please?
straight,
pulled in
forward, yeah.
and pulled into the water. And this to me is Schofield Barracks up here when I was in Hawaii, where they sent us. But, so it's really all symbolic, you know, it really is all symbolic. Which for painting, that's what painting should be, really. But, so people look at me and say, what have you been drinking, who you doing, blah, 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 raise your brains. You know, my brains are probably in my shoes, I don't know where they are. But that's why I painted that, and I keep this. I have never sold it, I probably never will.
Oh, it means something to you, so.
It does,
That's
more or less. I hate it and I love it. So anyway, this is the way I used to paint, over here. I used to paint realistically. And let me turn this around so you can see it. This is a picture I made up of Venice. I have a very photographic mind. I've been in Venice, and this is what I think I saw there. This really doesn't exist. But as I go into it, one line reaches to the other line, and then I come out with a composition.
It's amazing.
And I enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed it. But and I was selling these, by the way, too. I was really selling them out of a gallery in Southampton, and I sold some in Boston. They loved the European art, but I got to be where I was hating it. I was hate doing it. And I just couldn't, and I even was starting to show them my work. And then I said, that's it, I won't do no more, that's it. Because if I don't enjoy it, and I feel that my work is being heard, you know, then that's it for me, I won't keep it up. This here was another one I made up. This is Kyoto, and it's a watercolor.
very nice.
A little heavy. It's a watercolor. Kyoto doesn't look like that. Huh?
Kyoto, Japan, right?
Kyoto, Japan, right, yeah. I've never been in Kyoto, Japan, so I don't know what Kyoto, Japan looks
Fool
like.
me. That was after the earthquake, I think.
But if I thought, if he asked me, I'd say, yeah, this is Kyoto, Japan. So I made this up, and that's how I paint.
Did you use a reference?
No, it's in my head.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's in my head. Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
It's all in my head. I see, you know, I'm doing a painting now that I've had to give you an idea. I went over it with red paint. First I went over with different colors. Then I went over with blue. And then I went over with reds. And I had no idea, and I was saying, I gotta do something, what am I gonna do? And I was downtown Manhattan, and I saw a brick wall. And I said, that's what I wanna do. That's what I want in my painting. But I don't want to do a brick wall, I want to do something with a brick wall. So that's what I'm putting into the painting, and I come out with this thing with grass growing out of it and water flowing over it and all kinds of things. You'll see it when I get done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's how I do a painting. That's how I get to it.
Do you sketch first?
No, I don't do anything. I don't sketch because I get bored easy. And if I do it once, I don't want to do it twice. Like Freddie said, why don't you sell it? I've been offered money for this, a lot of money. And my daughters will not let me sell this painting. I sold the sister, I did 2 paintings. And years ago I had a show in Lincoln Center. And I sold the painting that went with this. And they were young, but I didn't hear about it until I got older. And then they said, you cannot, this is in my will somewhere. So I told my wife she's going to have to fight over who gets it, who doesn't. Because they absolutely won't let me sell that painting. And I've been offered quite a few $1,000s for it.
What was the other one of?
Excuse me?
What was the other?
The other one was of Sitting Bull. This is Red Cloud.
Okay.
The idea of this, let me take it out of here. I don't know if you can see it from there. But if you look into his face, he was 83 years old when the photograph that I had of him, he was 83 years old. I think he lived almost to 90 years old. And he never signed a treaty with the United States. He was the only chief that never signed a treaty for his tribe. Anyway, I figured, gee, if I was 83 years old and I was that, brave and, really had it behind me, what would I be thinking? So I thought he would probably be thinking about when he was a young man, and how when he had a lot of strength and so on and so forth. So I did they had what they called coups, the Indians. And a coup could be almost anything. It could be running into an enemy village, another Indian village, and tapping one guy on the shoulder and running out the other side of the village. That would be a coup. Everybody, oh, you're a brave guy, you ran into the village. They could have beaten you up or anything.
Yeah, right.
So, but one of the coups was when he was 13, I think, he went out and killed a buffalo. And that's what I thought he'd be thinking about, killing that buffalo. So if you look into his face, you'll see him riding a horse. If you can, am I getting it clear? You'll see him riding a horse with the buffalo and the spear going into the buffalo and stuff. Yeah. So everything has to have a story, I guess. Freddie, don't tell me this is crooked, all right? Because I don't want to get back. I can't find it. Oh, here it is.
What medium is that then?
This is pastel.
Something.
This is pastel. These here I just do for fun. These are watercolors. I can knock these off in like half an hour.
Yeah, watercolors are easy.
Huh? They are.
Watercolors are
To me, watercolor is the most fun medium there is. Because you can do anything with watercolor. And it comes out great. It really does.
Not all the time.
Well, you're very young, so you get, yeah, you have a little fun. This here, when I was in Ireland, I was, what is it, the Gull, right? I can't remember the name of the damn place again.
Galway Bay.
Galway Bay, right. I'm sorry, my mind's gone on me. I was in Galway Bay, and I said, I have to do something that, it really impressed me. It was so beautiful. Yeah, and, well, not Irish, this could be anywhere, really. But it was very mystical, and it just really hit me. And so I did this, porpoises coming out of a flower under the water. And this is the Isle of Shoal that is in Galway Bay. So that was the inspiration for that one. This is an oil, by the way. This is an oil painting.
Do the porpoises have any purpose?
Well,
They don't need a porpoise.
They have a purpose, not a purpose.
to me, they're very mystical.
Yes.
They are. I think everybody they are. They talk to each other. They have their signals and so on and so forth. So I kind of just put together. I don't even know if there are any in the water there, I'll tell you the truth. But that doesn't, to me, that's secondary. It doesn't matter, right, exactly. So, I had done that.
That's really cool.
So what do you call that, Danny? Galway Bay?
I call it the Isle of Shoal, but actually, I've changed it a few times, so.
The title of
Yes.
Dan's given up explaining it.
Yeah. Not so good. I don't get into shows. And the reason I don't get into shows, because I can't stand talking to people. And it's maybe I'm antisocial, I don't know, whatever it is.
It's just a curmudgeon, that's all.
I was sitting on the beach with my wife and it was hot, like today. Real hot, and the sun was down. And just as the evening was coming in, that evening breeze came in, and I thought of this, and I call it evening breeze. And it's just as that just when the sun is going down, it's twilight, and it's just, night, just between night and day. And you're just comfortable, you just get that first cool breeze of the evening. So I did this in an abstract.
That's really mystic.
Yeah, pastel.
That really is.
Yeah, this brought me into
Dan,
this
is that
type.
water or pastel?
Oh, this is watercolor, I'm sorry.
It's a beautiful.
This is watercolor,
Nice.
yeah, that's
As wet
watercolor.
on wet as you're gonna get.
It's wet on wet, yeah. I guess, yeah, well, it's a little, I laid it on, you know, the red. Then I've been kind of like breaking into abstract. This is called reflections, I think I had shown this before.
Yeah.
And I like it, I don't know, I mean, nobody else does, I like it.
Hold it up,
I'm
Dan.
happy with
Hold it
it.
up.
I'm sorry,
Yes, yeah.
I like it.
It is definitely reflections, it's beautiful.
I have to like what I do. If I don't like it, I wouldn't care, like who told me, the Queen of England told me. If I don't like it, I'll throw it away. This here, I gotta get a better frame.
This is wild.
This here is called a gardener.
Gardener.
On Venus.
This is how I paint. This is how I paint now, in this style. And it's surrealistic.
That's wild.
It's a surrealistic type of painting. And I love this painting.
I do.
I love not this painting, but I love to paint like this. And I enjoy this more than I enjoy doing realistic work. To me, that's work. To me, this is fun. And that's what I think painting should be. It should be fun. If you find painting to be work, and you keep putting it off and so on and so forth, you gotta sit down and start thinking what you wanna do. You might have a good talent, and that's good, but maybe you're not using it right. So you have to figure what you're gonna do. Now, like I said before, if nobody else liked this painting, and I liked it, I still feel I've accomplished everything. And if I never sell this painting, that's okay too. I'll keep it myself. But you can't let people dictate to you, you know, that they want this and this and this. I've had galleries do this to me, and I let them browbeat me, and then I realized how foolish I was, because I was miserable. I really was miserable. If you can put up with it and do it, then, you know, I'm not knocking it, don't get me wrong. This is just me, this is how I do things. So,
Dan, what were you thinking when you painted this?
well, I wasn't thinking of anything.
I mean, what did you have anything like, what I mean is, did anything inspire you? I mean, this
No.
looks like something.
No, I had nothing inspired. I started with the background and the ground here in the foreground.
Right.
Then I knew I wanted to bring in some kind of water and stuff and combine it with a glass dome of some sort. And then I just went along and started it. I said, well, why make it just water? Let me make it into glass, you know, because I want to see what's back there. I don't want to be cutting it out, my composition. As long as my composition's good, my design's good, my color composition's good, and my design is good, then to me that's a successful painting. What it represents, just like an abstract, I don't think it really matters, really. It represents whatever anybody in this room wants it to represent, okay?
Is
Yeah.
that the wooden thing inside the globe?
That is a sundial. It's a sundial, yeah.
Is it on canvas?
No, this is on masonite. So on masonite, it's an acrylic. This is an acrylic. In fact, this is the first acrylic I've ever done. This one, yeah. That I'm thinking of, yeah.
It's so incredibly spooky, you know?
Do you find it?
It really, no, when I
This
say
is what you
spooky,
see in there.
because it's just, it's so surreal, you know? It
Yeah.
really
Sunshine
is.
is in the globe.
You know, I mean, there's so many things you could read into this.
And it looks like something's trying to escape out of the globe.
In the white thing.
Well, it is. No, that's like a weed, it's like a plant.
It's coming out.
Yeah. It's just, like I say, it's not, I would rather paint a painting and have you get, you know,
Yeah,
interpret
interpret,
it.
yeah.
Even though I have my own interpretation of it, I would love to hear people. In fact, a lot of times when I have hung in the galleries, I try to sit around and hear
Yeah.
what's being said. Sometimes they know who I am, then I have my wife do it. Because I want to hear what they know. I want to hear what feedback.
Feedback.
I want to hear I want to get a lot of feedback. You know, people will lie to you and this and that and this and that. Be nice to you, you know, whatever. But I want to hear the truth. I don't want to hear, you know, anything wrong.
Well, see, when you look at that, you can make decisions about that, but with this, it's so interpretive that you can read it, you can, if you know, whatever you really want to think about it, you can put into it,
Yes.
that's what's so.
Now, somebody had told me, which is probably true, because I've lived around water all my life, is that all my paintings, when I do this type of painting, has to deal with water.
Water, yeah.
And I never noticed it until they brought that up to me, yeah. So, but, so there are certain influences in your life that do set you to, on a course of what you're doing, you know? So,
I guess the mummy thing really worked, huh? The mummy thing really worked.
you know, it was a good experience having all them jobs, but like I had to find myself. And like when I worked in advertising, I hated advertising. I absolutely hated it. I mean, I found everybody to be plastic there. It's my own opinion, okay? You can have the nicest guy in the world sitting next to me that works in advertising. But when I was in that, when the people I worked with, I didn't get along with them too good. So I got out of there. And, I went with the Navy Department, which was a big, smart move. Because they wanted to send me back to Vietnam. Then I said, well, kiss my, whatever.
It's good that you met your wife. She's
Yes, yeah. Well, at that time, I had 2 children. So I wasn't going back to Vietnam, no way. And, you know, sit in a cafe and have somebody come along with a bomb and shove it down my throat. Yeah. Well, that's about it. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them, you know, as best I can. Any
So what are you
questions?
doing now?
Right now, I'm doing a painting. Like I say, I went and I have a canvas. I think it's 36 by 30. It's a big one. I don't paint small. I can't paint small. I don't know. I can't do it. See, I have trouble unless I'm going to goof around with something this size. I can't.
There's no point.
Some people do.
No, I can't see,
You know, some people do fantastic work. I can't. My work just does not fit, you know, go into that. You know. So anybody else have a question? Anything at all?
Dan, do you have a favorite medium?
Do I have a favorite medium? No, I don't. I don't have a favorite medium. Because I enjoy
You're great
them.
at all of it.
Huh?
You're great at all of it.
Oh,
That's
thank
really
you.
amazing.
Thank you. I don't have a, I just, but that's not good either. You know, you should have a favorite medium. And you should stick with one thing I do.
No, you're not. You can work this well and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you a lot more freedom too. I mean, you can do anything and anything, so.
It gives you a lot of freedom.
Sure.
But as Larry, who does a lot of paintings, he'll tell you, galleries only sell oils.
Right.
And acrylics, I guess, right, Larry?
Well, that's not really
Yeah.
true. Well, it
But-
depends on the gallery.
No, I have not many.
I sold watercolors in
Have
the
you?
North Shore
Have
a
you?
lot.
Really?
Yeah. And if they want watercolors, they'll sell
They'll
them.
take them?
We'll take them. It just
Well,
depends on the
I've had a
gallery.
lot turn me down.
Yeah.
And
Watercolors.
you didn't bring any of your drawings
You
this time?
mean the pen and
The
inks?
pen and inks?
No, I didn't, no.
Yeah.
No.
I saw, you do a couple.
My back was killing me, but I could pull this in. I said, that's it, I can't take no more.
I'd love to see you do more watercolor.
Huh?
You really do beautiful watercolor. I'd love to see you do more watercolor.
Yeah,
Because you like watercolor, it seems.
yeah, well, I see, maybe I'll combine it later. Right now I'm into acrylics, which you can use as watercolor.
Dan,
You know.
you said you started to say what you're working on now, continue with that?
Who's talking?
What
Canvas?
are you working on now?
What you're working on now, continue with that?
Oh, yeah, oh, yes, I'm working on where I was saying before, where I didn't know what I was gonna do with the rest of the painting. And when I do a painting, it drives me crazy, because I'm trying to come up with something, I know it's in my head, I know it's there, and I'm trying to take that and put it onto a canvas. But I can't quite put it together right away. Then all of a sudden, something will happen, and it always works out this way. I'll be somewhere, I'll see something, and I know that this is what I've been thinking about all the time. The only thing is, it hits me then. I don't know why, it takes the time. And in this case, it was a brick wall. And I said, that's what I want. I want that brick wall. And I want it to look like that. It goes back to like 1900. And I said, I want it to look just like that. But I'm not going to do the whole brick wall. I'm just going to do the brick wall, and then I'm going to have stuff coming out of the brick wall. You know, things growing out of it, and maybe water coming out of it.
Like the Indian.
Yeah, like the Indian, right, yeah.
No
And
water.
I also was going to do one of Sitting Bull too. Again, I was going to try Sitting Bull, yeah. But there's something about Sitting Bull's portrait you're going to have a little trouble with. So I have to talk to Terry. He's the portrait man around here.
Then you wouldn't have a problem with the will.
And did you ever think of taking some snapshots of certain,
I've done that. It doesn't work for me.
okay?
It doesn't work, yeah. Now, it's a good thing to do. Don't get me wrong, it is a good thing to do.
When
But
you
it
see
just doesn't
something like
work
you
for me.
like, you know, like the brick wall or something?
I don't want, because if I took a picture of that brick wall, I'd let that brick wall dominate me.
Okay.
And I want to dominate the brick wall. I want the brick wall to look like I want it to look like.
And you got the photographic memory, so you
Well,
remember
that's-
it anyway.
It's a power thing, right there.
Yeah, well, no, maybe it's a power thing. It might be, who knows, it might be a power thing, yeah. Anybody else have oh, there's Doug.
Dan, I just like to make a comment, known you for a long time, easygoing,
Yeah.
kind of laid back guy.
That's me.
Inside, you're wild and crazy.
That's exactly what my wife says. My wife says the same thing. Says, Danny, people don't know you, and then when they know you, they step back away from you.
You just Steve Martin reincarnated, that's all.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing
Yeah,
more.
Yeah,
Sort of,
yeah.
yeah, like really.